to honor the life of Sabu today. The Sandman. And before I introduce Sandman, I at the beginning of the show, I said I wanted full disclosure on how today came about. And when we found out about Sabu's passing, I personally knew who I wanted on this show today, with Sandman, obviously Tommy, but Sandman being one of the very first names that came to mind. And when I reached out to Sandman, immediately he texts back and he was like, I was like, hey man, yada yada, sorry to hear about your friend passing away. Here's what we're doing tomorrow. Would you like to be on? And he immediately got, fuck yes. And then a couple of hours later, I called Sandman and he picks up the phone and he said, dude, I'm literally wiping away the last of my tears. And that really hit home with me because I didn't know that the Sandman cried. And I'm not being funny. It just that, it really struck a chord with me about, how big of a deal Sabu's passing was to the guys that were even closer to him than I was. And to hear Sandman wiping away the final tears was huge. So, our good friend, a guy we love, Sandman, welcome to Bust It Open this morning.
What up, everybody? Hey, yeah, freaking yesterday, I got the news from Todd Gordon, my best friend in the world. Sends me SOS, need to talk to you immediately. And he tells me what happened, but it didn't hit me until like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I just lost him for a little while. And I don't just like grieving is a very personal thing for people, you know what I mean? So I can't understand like what took so long with me to cry or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It was just a long day yesterday, and it was nice that he visited me in a dream last night.
Oh, wow.
I'm driving, of course. Todd Gordon's in the front seat. Franny and Seb were in the back seat. And we're arguing over directions, which we never do because I'm the direction dude. So, but Sabu just kept saying it. Todd's like, no, you got to go left. Franny's like, no, right? Sabu's like, no, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. I woke up real quick. That was like this morning, probably like 7:30. And to me, that was just a good sign, like that he's there, he's in my mind, and I'll mourn him. I'll mourn him a lot for a long time, 10 times a day, who knows, 20 times a day for the next month or so. But today I'd like to just celebrate what magic me in that dude. Oh, and I also texted him last night too. I texted his phone because I don't know. I feel like I wanted to talk to him, and it's stupid or whatever. You know what I mean? But I wanted to say goodbye on text to him on his phone because I believe there's an afterlife after this, guys. I really believe that we're all going to see each other again in a big steel cage match in the freaking sky, But
who's going over?
Well, not Sabu. You never knew he wouldn't lose to me.
Oh my God! Who's gonna be politicking in heaven?
For the team, boys.
When it's fun. Oh, hey, on God's green earth right here, he would never let me win. He did not. Well, because he was brought up old school, and I never had to win. It didn't matter to me. You can beat me, but I'm gonna get over at the end when I drink a beer with the audience. You know what I'm saying? So I never had to win. And that was fine with him, of course. So that's why Paulie never worked us when I had the belt, because he never wanted Sabu to lose to me.
Yesterday on the phone, you told me that you had worked with Sabu more than anybody else in your life. Do you remember the first match that you ever had with him?
Yeah, it was actually Tri-State Wrestling Alliance still. It was a battle. It was like a last to bleed battle royal or something. It was at the Civic Center, and Abby was brought in, and the Sheik was brought in, and Sabu, just like he did every other match I was ever with him, he slid under the bottom rope when it was his turn to come in, because it was like every minute or something. slid under the bottom rope, and punched me right in the face hard. And then he just kept saying, sorry. That was his deal, dude. He did the only time he'd ever stiff you in the match was the first punch. And then he'd apologize for it. Over and over. I'm like, okay, Sabu, I got it. Put me through this table, will you?
What made you and him such good friends? What brought you closer together?
Bill Alfonso. Here's a great story. So me and Fonzie were traveling freaking because we both lived in Tampa, and me and Fonzie were on the road every weekend for like 5 years. So he convinced me one of the best things I ever done was I saved up like 30, 40, and I bought a condo on the ocean in Clearwater across from Hogan's place, across from the bank. And that's how me and Fonzie got close every Friday morning, the 6:30 flight out of Tampa, first class, because Fonzie knew all the girls there, cocktails everywhere. That's how we started every one of our weekends. So then he starts working with Sabu, and then I think it was Sabu first, and then maybe RVD. But if you guys remember Sabu came with that big Winnebago. He bought that Winnebago and he started driving it around.
Yep.
So Sabu's trying to, because I wasn't really like, because you guys know I'm like a push myself on your personality. RVD's not like that. Sabu's not like that. So Fonzie wanted to be the liaison to get all of us to be friends. So Fonzie gets we fly into Pittsburgh or something. Sabu's there with his Winnebago. I got this bag of beer. I don't know how I ended up with a bag of beer or whatever. Fonzie's like, no, he'll be fine. Let him come on the Winnebago and drive with us. We get 50 yards down the road. My beer spills all over the floor underneath Sabu's feet, freaking trying to put the brakes on and shit. Just stupid, funny shit. Like shit that should be on TV. But that's how we got close. The only reason why we got close was because of Fonzie's, because of his relationship with me and his relationship once we hit the ground with the other guys.
The before early ECW, when you still lived in Philly, it was the Sandman van, and that van went everywhere. I was never allowed in the van, but
Tommy didn't do drugs. He wasn't coming in the van.
So then when Sandman moves to Florida, Sabu gets the Winnebago, and when I tell you, it's like again, marijuana was not legal at the time, but it was like a rolling Cheech and Chong. That van, that Winnebago would pull in, and especially like in Queens of all places, where the parking lot is smaller than the Winnebago, and all the boys would like wait for the Winnebago to park, everyone would come in, and then everyone would come out. And again, this was our normal lifestyle for, the business. And like my favorite, like, and again, and how I picture Sabu, Sabu, cowboy boots, yellow ECW shorts, and either a long shirt or a gi walking out of the Winnebago, be like, "Yo, what up, Dreamer?"
Dude, cowboy boots and shorts. He was doing it before the girls were even doing it. It's like, that's the thing to do now.
Yeah.
Back then, nobody did that. And he never wore long pants anyway. It's snowing outside. He never wore long pants.
Hack, yesterday I sent out a tweet about Sabu. I saw you put one out later in the night. I spoke of the brotherhood and the camaraderie that we had being in ECW, and there were cliques in ECW, but they weren't bad cliques. We just found guys who shared, the same passion for what we did in ring or passion for what we did out of the ring, and then we all hung out, but we were a real tight-knit group. Talk to me about your brotherhood with you and Sabu and RVD and Fonzie and Scorpio. Like, what was it like for you guys to be friends in that locker room?
You guys know how it is. It's like, you can be friends with somebody in a locker room, But once you start having a program with them, then things change a little bit, or they should change. Either it's going to go bad. Most of the time, it goes really, really good. So the more you work with somebody, to me, especially, we're not doing like rest holds and stuff like that, dude. We're doing triple jump moonsaults through tables and stuff. You're doing shit that you could get really hurt out there doing. So to me, when I know I could trust you with anything that we're doing out there, that will obviously make me gravitate towards your soul. And I knew that Sabu cared about, like, he's doing like this crazy stuff that nobody else is doing, but he certainly knew what he was doing every second out there. The dude never hurt me ever except the first punch in any match. So the more you work with, and same with Van Dam. Jesus Christ, the first time I worked with him, he kicked my head off like 3 years. You know how he is.
Yeah.
You know?
But so, like, I would eavesdrop on you, Raven, and Tommy putting matches together, and you guys are the masters of smoke and mirrors. You did absolutely nothing while doing everything at the same time. Did you have that same type of psychology camaraderie with Sabu, or did he dictate his style of the match to you, and you were able to go with the flow?
Dude, to me, I call when I'm in I'm the caller, dude.
Okay.
I don't care who it is. I'm in the three-way with me, Stevie, and Terry Funk the night of the first pay-per-view. Calling out there, dude. I was just the caller. Nobody was dictating to me. But with me and Sabu, we never had to go out there like like an AEW match. How many things is an AEW 6-man remembering right now? 150 things that go on in the ring in a 20-minute match. Sabu, we went out there with like 3-4 ideas of what we want to do. You know what I mean? It didn't have to be tackle, drop down, hip toss. You know what I'm saying? Just go out there and you flow and you feel it. I've only had the same other thing with Cactus was the only other guy that I felt like that I just went to the ring with, that it was just poetry. Even though me and Cactus didn't get along outside the ring, but when we were in the ring, it was just so easy.
Me and Dreamer were like that. We had to say shit to each other.
So yeah, Mark, it's not like you're freaking tackle, drop down, hip toss, arm drag, body slam
Right.
either.
And you know what? I feel like more wrestling needs to be feeling and the common everyday story. You look at me and Dreamer walk in the ring and get face to face, I look like the bully. Fucking just play your role. Everybody
role,
already
jabroni.
see it. I pie face him. He punched me. I grab him, headbutt him, and start beating him down. Like, people get it. But young wrestlers today have been conditioned. Hey, man, we got to work in that Canadian destroyer. Hey, I'm going to give you a suplex out of the ring to the floor, but you land outside the ropes on the apron, and then you can give me a slam on the apron. All that dumbass shit, it don't mean nothing. Tell me the Bible. Tell me good and evil. Tell me the gangster movie that I love so much. I want to see the gangster dude be intimidating, scary, where everybody's like, oh my God, he's going to cut off his finger.
I was just going to say that.
Give it to me. And then when the time comes, have the guy no, and fire up, and then make everybody happy. But that's missing. I got that from ECW very easily because the crowd dictated a lot of where the violence went, but the guys in the ring were the ones that were they puppeteered everybody. Y'all tricked people into thinking that they had fucking control. I'm watching you and Tommy wrestle against Rob Van Dam in matches that athletically, it ain't many dudes I put up there with Rob. Rob could do anything. He was strong as a fucking bull. He was fast. He was quick. He was explosive, flexible, anything that you could say athletic. But when Rob worked everybody, he brought his shit down to meet everybody. Like, so it's like the stories of ECW bullying and the whole Dudley family, like that shit was you can't even recreate it.
Like Sabu, he could do everything as well, but then what Sabu would do, and me and Sandman works Sabu and Rob Van Dam so much, and the way they would sell even giving the move, as well as like when
Great point.
so giving, because they would do rolling thunder, we would sometimes, they would miss their rolling thunder, and then me and Hack would do rolling rock, and like they were giving, or we would do like their move, and like I would jump off of Hack's back or he would jump off of mine. When I would jump off of his back, he'd be like, "Oh, you're killing me, you fat ass," right? But we would just do stuff, but also our heels were giving to the baby faces to do our shit, and we're doing it in our way, and it was just like, again, magic. Because I mean, I know how many times I just don't I didn't look at it, but I mean, we worked about a year with Sabu and Van Dam as well, and they had heat and we had sympathy. Him and I would argue about who was going to lose because, like he said, but it was also our opponents being very, very giving opponents. And like, I just think of like someone like Kevin Knight, who I really love. He does the spinning frog splash, gets insane height, and I was like, Sabu invented that move.
Wow,
Straight up.
so is that's a Sabu?
Sabu invented that move.
Hack, you were just talking about how in the match you were always the leader. You called everything. Did you learn anything, or what was the number one takeaway or number one thing that you learned from working with Sabu?
Besides duck that first punch.
Dude, that it could be that great and that easy. It could be that great and just that freaking easy.
You know, Undertaker, talks about how he always had to be the leader in the match, but when he got in there with Shawn Michaels, things just flowed so well that's when he felt like he could just be the Undertaker. Are you saying that when you were in there with Sabu, that's when you felt your most comfortable and you could truly be the Sandman?
Yeah, I could just, it's like, I don't know, it's so much different of going to the ring and knowing that whatever happens, nothing can turn out bad of it. Besides an injuries, you're not getting lost. Nobody's going to end up looking stupid.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys might know you screwed up, but nobody in that damn audience is going to know you screwed up. And that just gives you more You're just so confident when you go out there with somebody Sabu. And you just, dude, I used to tell him all the time, I'm like, dude, let's go steal this fucking show. And he could so easy with that guy.
Hack, I believe that the wrestling business has always kept ECW at an arm's length because of what we were able to do, but nobody truly wants to admit it. And earlier, Mark Henry was talking about, Mark always talks about giving people flowers when they're alive and not where we're dead. We're in the unfortunate situation today. As influential as Sabu was, and we saw this yesterday, was on social media, it was really, really evident that Sabu touched a lot of people personally and mostly professionally. Why don't you think Sabu was ever given his just due and his flowers?
The biggest reason I think that that Sabu didn't get his dues, he didn't cut promos. You know what I'm saying? He didn't. But if you could talk to people, you could suck them into your world more than Fonzie blowing a damn whistle and screaming at you. You know what I mean? So I think, and Sabu, because the guy knows who he is and he knows who his character is, he knows you're not supposed to go out there and talk like his regular American self.
Your last words on Sabu, your final thoughts.
Sabu, I love you, dude. I had so much fun in the ring with you. Thank you for being my friend. Peace. I'm out, guys.